Okay. Welcome. Just get everything set up here. All right, welcome. Just let me know who's here. If you don't mind dropping in the comments, I would greatly appreciate it. And just let me know where you at, who you are, where you at, where you from. It's been a minute since I've done a live here, outside of my groups, so really excited to connect with everyone. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy we could hop on here today. So happy. Okay. Let me know if you can hear this okay. Hopefully that sounds good. Hello, beautiful. Is it Guyana? Guyana? I meant to ask you that. I've meant to ask you that in the chat. And thank you, Yvonne. I didn't. So let me know. Guyana? I'm so grateful you could make it, beautiful. So grateful. I'm so grateful we could come together today, truly. I was actually speaking to Yvonne in a chat prior, and as you guys know, um, Guyana, Justina, welcome. Hello. So grateful you beautiful women are here. Like I was saying, myself and Yvonne were having a conversation. I wasn't gonna do a live. I had a migraine for the last day. Okay, beautiful, thank you. I don't want to butcher it too much. So we were talking about basically I was having this migraine. I didn't think I was going to bring the live through today. And then it was like a light switch. And then all of a sudden the migraine was gone. And I felt like my nervous system had a sense of what I would attribute it to, like kind of like anxiety. It was feeling like very shaky, like I wanted to pass out. I didn't feel too dizzy. I know Yvonne mentioned the dizziness, but feeling very similar sensations. I knew then that energetically there was a call to step into the activation to balance and to harmonize. There's been a lot of major shifts that have been taking place, which I'm sure everyone's aware of. We are moving at such a rapid rate that shifts are happening all the time. So the few things that I'm going to speak into is just energetically what I'm feeling, what I'm moving through, in hopes that that will reflect in similarities for those that have been moving through something similar. And then we'll go into energetically bringing through some tones to actively harmonize and balance the system. The one thing I am going to invite in ahead of time when it comes to the tones, so the expression of my tones is the attunement of me. It's the attunement of my wisdom, the attunement of my mastery, and you're gonna feel it. It's gonna affect you. But your tone, when you express yourself, it really enhances the experience, because even though we're collaborating as a collective consciousness, you energetically are attuned to your dream. You're attuned to your simulation. So your sound, your senses, they have a very specific range of attunement. And when you express your tune, even if you're just humming, it doesn't have to be anything elaborate. But if you express yourself, you're going to notice an enhancement of this activation, because the tones are extremely palpable. You might feel a sense of almost like numbness that comes over your nervous system. You might feel a sense of heaviness that comes over your nervous system. Like you feel almost like a blanket to your nervous system. And then at the same time, but it's heavy, but it's a good sense of heavy. Basically feeling like anything that has felt slightly out of balance, not quite calibrated, is going to start to harmonize, sync, and come into calibration. Tones automatically will vibrationally harmonize everything, because they're coming in terms of, so think of this planetary sphere isn't a chunk of material matter like we think it is, and I'm sure most people are aware of this by now. It's streams of data. In the entire collective, every single one of us is a stream of collective consciousness. We're streaming into the collective, and our thoughts, our beliefs, our dreams, our conditions, our programs, our behaviors, all of it is feeding into data stream. So energetically, when we start to master certain parts of ourselves, our bandwidth begins to expand. We begin to take up more space, because a soul that has been broken down, that's been fragmented, doesn't take up much space. It's fragmented, it's in pieces. When it starts to become more whole and complete, because it starts to gain a greater depth of understanding, the bandwidth is much larger. The data stream carrying a larger capacity of wisdom, which is what makes it much larger. It's coming in from all the different versions of you that merge at one point in time and space. So from that point, you are a larger bandwidth of wisdom feeding into the collective stream. Eventually, you're going to be such a large bandwidth that you can't fit in the lower, denser streams of consciousness. You fall out of that and you rearrange yourself in a higher collective oversoul, higher patterns, higher states. And a state is a way of experiencing yourself that you never have before. It's a state in which you understand yourself in ways that you never have before. And most of the time, we are so used to being bound by our beliefs that we don't actually realize they're controlling us. We don't realize that they are preventing us from seeing the larger picture, especially because a lot of times when we begin this path of awakening, we're taking in so much data, so much information, that we think because we know what we know, and because we've learned what we've learned, that we've somehow mastered it all, that we have bypassed ego, that we have made it, and we're already in fifth dimension. But the truth is that once you learn something and you expand that state of wisdom, you might as well just forget about it, because the next state, you're going to learn it differently. You're going to see it differently. And what you learned isn't going to matter anymore. So it's very important to remember that the more that you learn, the less that you know. Okay? You don't know anything. You don't know what you think you know. And by all means, just because you've read it, just because you've heard it, doesn't mean it's yours. And it doesn't mean you've mastered. Your mastery is a sovereign point of experience that only you play a part in. Only you play a role in it. And since you are the only one in your dream, it's very important to remember that even though there's a lot of information coming in from a lot of collective data streams, the only person that appears in your simulation is you. No other self can actually come into your dream. This is why all the lessons are set up for you in the way that they are. They're specifically catered for your soul. You're the only one that can learn those lessons. Nobody can learn them for you. Nobody can save you from yourself. And in order for you to truly understand how to embody a higher sovereign state, you have to be able to see yourself with the depth of clarity. And most people will walk away. They'll say, okay, well, I already know all this stuff, right? It's not intriguing enough. Most people don't want to hear this because it doesn't hold their awareness captive like a message incoming from the Federation of Planets or the angelic Trinity or something of that nature, which of course, that's a wonderful, powerful thing. But even that message can only hold depth if you have a greater depth of who you are to begin with. That message is simply just going to be words that you attach to and you attribute some part of yourself to because you believe that it has meaning. But which version of you is holding the belief that thinks it has meaning? A lot of times we don't realize how much we're still operating from programming and how much of our spiritual path is actually still based in escapism. And like I said, it's not necessarily the funnest thing. Most people want somebody to tell them what's happening, what they need to do, how they need to do it. Like, what are the cosmic energies saying? Who's saying what? What do I need to do? What's the next step? That's where most people like to operate. They like to have someone telling them what they need to know so that they can turn around and they can share it as if they know something. It's not as much fun when you're being asked to take a deeper path into mastery and understand yourself, to understand the wisdom that you carry. And two, if you just simply look at the fact that if this was an incarnation where you came in, you agreed to basically trap yourself and then forget that you not only had the power to fully awaken to yourself as a complete and whole state of higher consciousness, but your body. Most of us experience a body that is misaligned, that's not calibrated, that has some form of sickness or disease, discomfort and pain. The pain body is not only an illusion, it's not an absolute. It's a breadcrumb that's leading you deeper into understanding yourself. Your genes, they're conditional and they're also unconditional. You inherited a system that was meant to make you think that you are just what you feel in that condition, that you're just what you experience in that belief. But epigenetics has already shown us, and I have already experienced this for myself, that our genes are not absolute. They are only conditional based on the conditions we place upon them. If you think that you're going to inherit something in your motherline and you conditionally believe that, that's exactly what you're going to experience. If as soon as something is happening in your body, if the first trigger or the first warning that you get is fear, you're still based in a set of programs that are basically analyzing everything in your environment from that the lesson groups that you inherited. The lesson groups, the things that you're supposed to learn and you're supposed to master, they're a part of your forgetting. It's a part of your familial line. It's the reason why your familial line was set up by your ego, by your identity. It's why you were given an identity, why you were given a name, why you were given all these different things from the family line that you inherit. But there are a lot of conditions placed upon that family line. You can accept that family line, you can accept those conditions, or you can be the disruptor. Now, if you just look at what you're disrupting, you can actually begin to see that it's doesn't have to be, I feel like we imagine it to be something dramatic, that if we're chosen ones or we're disruptors, it's something existential. And in ways it is, but it's the really subtle ways of perception that give you the depth of clarity in connection with this dimension. Third dimension is basically the depth of your perception. The deeper you go, the larger you become, the more you see, the bigger the picture. Fourth dimension is what I perceive as time, true time, or movement. It's where there's actual movement, where things are actually moving. And as you begin to see time as it really is, with depth, and I mean an extreme depth of perception, things become more clear. You see that you didn't really know what you thought you knew. That the way that you thought you knew it was still encapsulated in a tunnel vision way of perceiving. One of the examples I used for my 4-week container was that, imagine you're a hunter and you're going hunting for elk, okay? And you go hunting, and the entire time you've got your scope set on your gun, but you're just looking through the scope. That's all you're doing. You're looking through the scope. So you have a very, very small perception. If you're just looking through the scope, you cannot see the field. You cannot see the entire picture, and you can't see everything that's moving. If we do not give ourselves an opportunity to accept that tunnel vision has to come into clarity, we have to not only be aware of the perception that we're holding, but we have to be willing to express it from a space of illumination, like, oh my goodness, that is me. If I turn away and say, that's not me, I've done that, I'm better than that, then I am denying myself bigger picture. I'm saying that I am above everyone else, and I don't need to do the work, that I don't need to practice, that I don't need to allow myself to accept that whatever is coming to me, I have put out. So if it's coming to me, I have an opportunity to master what's coming back to me. And it's not necessarily the subject matter that you're mastering, it's your reaction. If something's coming to you and you feel like you're better than what's coming to you, then you put it out in that way. You put it out as if you knew everything. And what comes back to you is that exact perception in some form. Now, obviously, your other selves, those other versions of you that are pretending to be different, pretending to be other selves, they're just wearing masks. They're all you. They're just wearing different faces. They're playing the game, pretending to be someone other than you. So if another version of you is appearing and is offering you an opportunity to see yourself more clearly, but you turn away and act like you're better than, you're above, or you're lesser than, then you're not seeing yourself clearly. You're not seeing the bigger picture. Every single self in your reality is a fractal of you, giving you an opportunity to see yourself. Right now, we've had powerful tsunami energy moving through. Energetically, what's been moving through in the last few weeks, there's been a couple of major events that happened right after some of the activations that I brought through in my containers. I know there was an earthquake that happened in LA during one of my activations. Then the tsunami warnings went out after our last group live, Yvonne, I believe. It was within 24 to 48 hours. And there was something else that happened that I posted in the group. That was another event that took place. We are vibrationally shifting the collective at all times. And right now, the reason why I speak into all of this is because there is a merge, a shift and merge that's happening in terms of our collective oversouls. The more that you choose to harness that depth of perception and understand yourself by interacting with other mirrors, other versions of you that are also mastering themselves, you begin to fall out of the societal patterns that are held as basically these everlasting loops of programs. Programs, that's all they are. Ways of thinking, societal conditions, they loop and they loop and they loop. That's the matrix. That's the old matrix. That's the matrix of forgetting. Okay, it pulls you in. It makes you think that you know something, and you know it so you just know it so well that there's no denying it, right? No defying it. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that what you're holding on to isn't truth, but if you're not willing to see it differently, then you're not willing to energetically align yourself to another fractal of yourself. You're not willing to move and meet yourself in another parallel life and say, okay, let me look at myself from this angle. Let me look at myself from this angle. Let me see myself from this perception. If this is being shown to me, why is it being shown to me? As the energetic lines are releasing and coming back together, as they are releasing and reforming, the The larger your bandwidth, the less you require the material plane to reflect back to you your lessons. So everybody's talking about ascension and, moving into 5D. There's a lot of escapism that's taking place because most people still are attempting to look towards the work. Many believe they've already transcended the work. The work is not finished until you no longer hold a connection to the material plane. The material plane is your lesson groups coming back to you and your service contracts moving through you. So if you are still linked in the material plane, and we all are as a collective, until enough of us have transcended the entire material lesson groups and moved into the timeline where we have fully remembered, we see things with full clarity, we no longer require the density of the material body, and we can energetically trick ourselves completely. Now, I don't know when this is going to happen. I'm not going to say when it's going to happen because it's not about when it's going to happen. It's a fact that it's in motion. And there will be, what I've been able to see and understand thus far, 3 timelines, which makes sense. There's always a trinity. There's no such thing as duality. I'm sorry. There's no true such thing as duality. There is the illusion of duality, the perception of duality. However, in pure universal coherence, everything in coherence is a trinity. It's a triad. You have the light, the dark, and you have a unity of the two, or mother, father, child, however you would like to view it. So the 3 timelines are 3 oversouls carrying 3 different collective simulations. If you feel that without a doubt you are here for something beyond the material plane, then I highly invite you to focus on your mastery. This means that beyond the shadow of a doubt that there is nothing more important than you mastering and transcending. This means that you want to connect with those that are also energetically here for those same purposes and intentions, because that's the intention and purpose of your soul. That's the fabric of your existence. Nothing else matters. Nothing in the material plane matters. Your mastery is what matters. There are those that are here for just experience. That's probably going to be that middle group. They're going to be here basically helping hold the middle way, basically the shifting consciousness. Those in the higher will be doing the same, but they're going to be energetically operating from a state that's more energy body based instead of physical body based. The ones in the middle that are here for experiences are the ones that are going to be setting up healing centers and new technology centers. It's where the AI technology is really going to be harnessed for medicinal purposes and to really assist in everyday life. So all the things that are going to really transition the material realm into its, we'll say, material counterparts for that type of experience, that will be that middle way. Now, the lower is going to be the dense karmic lesson groups that those are simply not willing to move out of yet, that their soul still requires. So you're also probably noticing that you're pulling away from those easier that no longer hold alignment to you. There's just once you realize that it's a no, you're pulling away. Because if you're staying in something that's not a full yes, you got to look at why. What are you trying to hold on to? What are you attached to? And what is it that maybe you need to learn that you haven't been willing to see so far? So as all of this is happening, this is happening based on predetermined pathways. You set it up for yourself. So you want to be sure that you don't deny yourself what you are here to experience. You don't want to just latch on to what other people are saying and doing just because you want to fit in with the crowd. I've never really fit in at all. I always say things that kind of go against what the collective spiritual community is saying. And at the same time, there is essence of similarity, but it's because that's my authentic tone. That's my authority. I speak with the wisdom in which I experience, regardless of what everyone else is talking about. It's about what I've learned, what I know to be true from what I have mastered on my path so far. And some of the biggest cycles that have been coming to a close right now have to the reactive nature that comes out of fear and control. And this is a very subtle nuance. It's not fear necessarily like, oh my gosh, I'm afraid of spiders and snakes, or oh my gosh, I'm afraid of heights. It's not necessarily emotionally charged like that. Sometimes fear can simply be a reaction, a behavioral context that you react within because you're just so used to that type of reaction. And it began from a moment of fear where you felt the only way you could protect yourself is by responding in that reactive way. So your nervous system has become accustomed to that type of reaction, and it's still believing that it needs to be safe and secure by reacting that way, which means it's still perceiving something as a danger. Myself, I've been moving through a reactory entanglement with my little fur baby. There was still some emotional attachment connect to the way that he is afraid, to the way that he feels when he gets scared, and feeling like I need to somehow manage and micromanage that fear. That still came up. So did some reactiveness around my mom, because there's still emotional entanglement there that leads me to a reactive response. I don't have to react. I never have to react. So why do we react? Why is it that it takes us practice to just pause and see what is here? Where do we get to go? Not to where I have to go. Where do I get to go? Because when I get to do something, there's a level of freedom in that. I'm not being forced, nor are those in my other versions of self being forced. And I noticed a subtle nuance. I mean, it wasn't shouting, it wasn't screaming. It was appearing in a way where I was overly excessively addressing something. Like, are you sure you don't want to do this? Are you sure you don't want to do that? Are you sure you're okay? Is everything okay? That overly addressing and that excessive need to approach something, that's a reactive behavior that comes from an imprint of fear that began in a moment where I felt that that was the only way that I could control my environment. That was the only way that I could micromanage the situation to make me feel safe and make me feel like things were in control. But the truth is, it's out of control. That type of behaviorism comes from a space of feeling like I have no control. It makes me feel like I need to exhibit control. So, in order to have an instant manifestation appear, because see, that blocks manifestation right there. You're only going to consistently see that pattern because you haven't mastered it. So I kept going into the pattern, so the pattern kept appearing. So then I was like, okay, let me take a step back because I know these things. That's how that whole part of the more that you know, the less that you're learning, because the more that you learn, the less that you know. It's quite true. And so then it was time, as always, to practice what I preach. And I took a step back and I just said, okay, I don't care. I don't care. Doesn't mean I'm not compassionate. It means I'm no longer contributing my attention to the need to micromanage from a state that I have already understood is only serving that identity of self that exists in fear. So then I have to actually pause and not approach it in that reactive behavior. I have to energetically redirect myself so that I don't go into it, which means, okay, let me do something different. Instead of acting in that way, I'm going to react differently. I'm going to put my energy somewhere else. I'm going to energetically focus my attention on what I am, not what I need to do or not what I need to control. So that's where I just consistently proclaim, okay, you know what? Everything's always working out. Everything is happening exactly as it needs to happen. It can happen no other way. This is here to see how I respond and how I react, not what I do. It's not about what I do. It's never about what you do. Everything in this simulation is about how easy it gets to be. If it's not easy, then you need to take a look at it. If there's a lot of emotional imbalances happening, we need to look at it. If there is reactive behaviors coming up, you need to look at it. These are all points of mastery because you have inherited a paradigm that is not yours. You have inherited a paradigm that was based on programs and conditions of society or family line, the culture, the religion, it's all feeding into you and you're feeding into the collective. And you're either going to be consciously, collectively aligned to the denser lesson groups, the karma, and this is a perfect simulation for karma. This is why we come here. So that we can either gain some karma so that we can then energetically burn it off, or we come here in service to energetically rack up some of our higher karma for service. Mine was both. I was energetically born into a lot of perceived trauma, and then also energetically inheriting a lot of higher contracts, soul contracts, service contracts, which give me points, if you will, for my higher line of karma, which goes towards my pure service. It's just the wisdom I pass on to others. It is a part of who I am, and I share it, and that is energetically, I hope, assisting others. So I say all of this because if you have not had things coming to a close, or if you maybe haven't been aware that these certain patterns have been coming forward, or maybe you have and you've been having difficulty pulling out of them, you're more than welcome to reach out. This is what I do all the time. I would love to assist you. I would love to support you in the time that I have here right now. The one thing I would say is most important to remember is you can always tell when you're going to go into that pattern. Your body is sending you signals before your mind can catch up. So by the time you think about it, by the time the emotions come, your body was already telling you the story before the story started acting itself out. So the best thing you can do every single day is to be present with your body and ask your body, what is here now? What version of me is showing up? What needs my attention? And also ask yourself, why are you choosing to feel that way? Because it's a choice. Everything's a choice. Even the way you feel is a choice. Trauma is not the event. And I just want to remind you all of this before we head into the activation. Trauma isn't something that happened to you. It's the perception of what you think happened to you. Because the only one that exists in your simulation is you. Your subconscious can only simulate your dream state. So nobody has ever hurt you. But they have left imprints, pieces of perceived identity, which is intertwined in your identity. And the only way for you to reclaim your sovereign state is to regain your emotional intelligence, which means that the way that you think and the way that you feel and the way that you believe and the way that you behave isn't because of someone else. It's not dependent on someone else, and it isn't inherited because of someone else. When you reclaim your sovereign state, you think like you think for you. You feel like you feel for you. You choose, you believe what you choose and you believe because you choose it. It's yours, no one else's. And also too, on the spiritual path, I will leave this little nugget. We all pick up information and we all claim parts of spirituality that we think are us. I would invite you to sit down and ask yourself, where did that part of you that you claim, whether it's a cosmic heritage or a ray or a cosmic star group or whatever, just sit down, do some automatic writing and see where was the beginning point of that remembering. Where did you first hear the word? Where did you receive the information? And then disentangle yourself from it and then allow it to come back as a clearer picture through time. Allow the pieces to come back together once you disconnect yourself from needing to have a separate source of information other than yourself. Now, granted, it's your reality, it's your dream. So you're interwoven into all of it. But there is also collective data streams that are interwoven into your dream, which means you have to disassemble yourself and reassemble yourself within a depth of perception to truly be willing to say, okay, this might not be mine. I might need to look at that. If you're not willing to look at something more closely because you believe it so dearly that you're just not willing to budge, that you get triggered if anyone mentions anything in relation to something about it, asking you to maybe, look at it a little differently, and it triggers you, you got a massive sense of attachment connected to belief. And you're no longer the one controlling the belief is controlling you. The belief is controlling everything that you think, everything that you believe, and therefore you're not in a sovereign state of perception, you're in a program state. This means that everything that you think, everything that you feel, and everything that you do is programmed, because you're not consciously the one that is the sovereign source that's aware of itself from all angles. You're just only willing to look at that one angle in that one way, and believe in it in that one, just that one way of feeling and thinking. Very much like the hunter that's trying to go hunting by looking down the scope the entire time instead of seeing the entire picture for what it is. So you're all things, my loves. And if you're not willing to see yourself as the all, then how can you remember yourself as the all? Which means if you only identify yourself in one way, then you're not remembering yourself as a whole and complete self. You're only limiting yourself. And again, there's a lot of things that are coming to you, a lot of people saying a lot of things. And if you believe what they say, then you're choosing to accept that someone else has your power, someone else has they're controlling you, they're pulling the strings because you feel how you feel because of what they said. Now think of how much control that limits you, how much of your power is disempowered. The only way that you can feel that way is because of them. The only way that you can feel loved and heard is because of them. The only way that you can feel even upset and angry is because of them. Think of how much power you give away because you believe another person has something more than you. This is your dream. It's all you anyways. So you might as well take that power back, reclaim it, and remember who you are, along with, of course, all the other collective data streams that are coming in and simultaneously infiltrating your psyche. So data is coming in all the time. Energetically, as we step into this activation, what is being harnessed is a broad vibrational bandwidth of sound, of vibration. Light is sound. Sound is light. And you can imagine in just our eyes alone, if we just want to look at the organic perspective, I think there's, I don't know, like 20 million cells in this one part of our eye, or in our eye, in those little parts that are like right in the circle of our eye there. You know how much information passes, how much data passes through those cells? That's just in that one space. Now imagine the rest of your body. The streams of data that you're inheriting in every millisecond is incredible, and you're processing it. Your body, your vehicle, is the most perfect configuration of technology that will ever exist. There is nothing that can actually heal you. There is nothing that fixes you. There is no technology greater than you in your body. Your consciousness, your soul, your spirit, all data streams of you multidimensionally, multiversely are linking into you in this exact moment right now. As soon as you're aware of it, that's the now moment. When it catches your awareness, you give it attention, that's the now. When you're in presence and you're also in stillness. So think about all the data that's passing through. Now think about just the small amounts that you actually are captivated within. As we go into this activation, I'm going to invite you to rest yourself in a state of presence and just surrender yourself to the consistent data streams of sound and light that are coming in, to experience something other than this small little image of an identity that you think you are on this small little planet floating in space that you think is floating in space. I'm going to invite you to feel yourself and sense yourself beyond that physical identity. If you've never experienced tones or sounds like this or light language, don't judge it. Just have fun with it. Play in it like a child. A child wouldn't judge, they would go along. Not because there's anything, it's not like, I'm not saying like, oh, just do it to do it. If you're really here to have a deeper experience of yourself beyond the analytical mind, then surrender beyond the analytical mind. So, as we go into this, I'm going to invite you to begin dropping yourself in. Now, what this means is that you close your eyes and you begin to surrender your physical body. Your physical body, again, is made up of neurons firing every millisecond, or even faster than that, actually. And that's a lot of data passing through, a lot. I'm going to invite you to just allow it to move through without giving attention. If you have thoughts, it's okay. Just remember, you're the eye of the storm. You don't have to give the thoughts attention. You don't want to try to force them away. You don't want to try to control them. You just want to remember that you don't have to give them attention. You're not trying to battle yourself into peace. You're allowing yourself to remember you already exist there. And as you begin to enter the state of discovery, the deeper you surrender, the more still it becomes. Like a leaf floating in a pond, gently having the breeze lapping the waves underneath. That's about how it should feel. For me, once I am fully committed, my body will actually begin to move in waves. Like I am no longer a physical being. I actually don't feel my bones anymore. I won't feel my body as a physical sensation. My sensory perception begins to extend itself beyond that domain. So I'm just going to have each of you please declare, I accept, I receive, I accept, I allow, as we're going to go ahead and make a shift because I'm feeling pretty pulled into it. So and just giving yourself permission to allow whatever comes to come without judgment. You do not need to know or understand whatever is dropping in. There are things that could drop in that you will not have clarity into for another 2 weeks or another 2 months. But the clarity and connection will come. You're receiving exactly what you decided you could and would receive in this moment. So please allow that. All right, I'm already beginning to move as the data streams are coming in. So calling in all guides, collective and individual, calling in all spirit teams, cosmic and universal, calling in all earth-bound anchors, interdimensional, outer dimensional. Holding the space, anchoring the vibrational codices that allow for a greater collective experience. Now, just giving yourself an opportunity to be aware that, hey, Sama, give yourself an opportunity to be aware that your body can actually go into a state of almost floating. There's a pulling sensation happening from your pineal, which is activating in the center part of your head. And when you begin to open yourself up by simply just accepting, that's all you have to do, accept and allow. You surrender to that space, you will begin to feel yourself being moved or guided, or it may be, even if you're not actually moving, you're going to feel the waves subtly through your body. You might even have some rocking, some subtle rocking that takes place. Just allow the guidance to happen. It's happening higher in awareness. It's you overseeing you. It's the information of your oversoul coming in. For me, I'm always guided into different positions of receiving. My body will rock, move, my head will move side to side. It's not something I think about or plan for, it just happens. It's like being in a healing pod almost, with the plasmic waves. Okay, requesting the connection to Supreme Intelligence and the universal consciousness of all. Now we already hold this connection. We're just requesting a remembrance of that connection. Opening the space. And we're just gonna do some toning here to open everything up. Like I said, you guys, please join me. You can hum, make whatever sounds you would like, but when you make the sound of your tone, it's going to enhance the experience. Requesting anchoring into the source grid of the planet. You may feel a suctioning at the base of your feet. Opening, activating Earth Star, opening, activating Root, activating all chakras, opening all meridians, activating and opening up through the Universal Star, activating and opening, requesting a download of all tones of activation. Now just dropping deeper, like I said, you will hear expressions of sound, light language, and tone moving forward. Majority of this experience will simply be the expression of the data in whatever way it wants to come forward through my activated tone, my attunement. Allow your expression to do the same. Even if you've never expressed light language, you don't know how to do it. It's just an expression of sound. It's an expression of vibration. Just let it rip. body to just melt away. Allowing the physical body to just dismantle. Ira nasira matira sira kira masira te. Allowing the sound to lift you, to comfort you, to calm you, to balance you. Ina sakira retira matera setera matera sete. We call forward the dismantling of all karmic lines, ancestral lines, any patterns that are holding a density of lack, imprints of unworthiness, mistrust, anger, oppression, regression. Invalidity. Feeling unseen and unheard. These versions of you that are operating in shadow, we call them forward now. Clearing the line. We clear this stream. Reclaiming it in the light. Oshina matakira sukoria sukoyata kiando kurkasi Calling forward the Order of Alcyon to assist in the clearing and holding the space. These are the plasmic libraries of the essential suns of all universes. Clearing space. That one's got a lot coming up the spine. Let's open up the roots some more. Unda sira kotera matera 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 Tarmate, 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 tarmate. Allowing the sound to just simply open you. Realigning from the root to the heart, expanding outwards. There's definitely some opening. It's almost like a rod piercing from the root through the spine to the base of the neck and expanding out through the shoulders, but it's really clear coming up straight through my spine into the base of my neck, just holding me stock straight. As we connect deeper to the Order of Alcyone, I would like to call forward the celestial template. This is basically a collection of stargates, gateways. You can imagine our sun, the consciousness of the star, not the sun that you see in the sky, but the consciousness that is holding the central part of the universe. The sun you see in our sky is a gateway, but it is not the full representation of what our star is. It is a celestial gateway that is connected to the central sun of creation. And now you can really feel and experience that connection coming in through the solar plexus. Inamate, sinamate, inamate, 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 inamate. Accepting this design. Really feel that. It's such a piercing, penetrating rod that is just coming through. Ramasena kira mate, ramasera mate, ramasera mate, ramase, ramase. Ramasete, 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 ramasete. Ramasete, te, 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 te. Ramasete, 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 ramasete. Ramasete. coming in through the spine. Interlocking with another celestial tone, another celestial mantra. Ramasate, 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 Ramamasate, tick, 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 tick. Now this one feels like it's really, really coming in through the legs and the lower half of the body, dismantling density. Now with each of these tones, just simply be aware of what you feel and what you sense. Each of these are, of course, an activation of plasmic design. We would like to invite you to envision a rose in your third eye. And with each tone, you can envision and imagine the rose opening, expanding, enveloping you, wrapping you, shielding you. Each of these tones is opening different space and time. These are celestial connection points. And the sound, not just the sound, but the sound and the vibration is opening something through you, a part of you, maybe a part of you long forgotten. It is also mending you, balancing you, calibrating, harmonizing. And as mentioned, you may notice a heaviness along with a extreme lightness. As you are surrounded by plasmic currents, and as you are also experiencing these currents through you, these data streams, these bandwidths of sound and light. Each one harmonically interacting, harmonically intercepting, and connecting with your DNA in the exact and most precise ways. You do not have to think about it. All you have to do is simply allow it. I'm definitely sensing a lot in the root, sacral, and solar plexus that has been opened for this collective data stream. Ramasateki ati asi ati asi ati asi ati asi ati ati asi ati asi ati asi ati ataya kote Marakate, 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 marakate. Now we're moving. Intercepting the seven sisters, the seven celestial gateways, connected to the Andromeda galaxy, feeling this one pretty intensely. Yes, Anna Matero, si Atakira, Matera, Matera, Masitera, 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 Matera, Matera. Satera matera 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 tere te tere te mate 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 sanamate 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 ti 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 ti. Balancing, harmonizing the collective grid lines. Kiratashu Korea Namate Siakate Sakte Ramase Kira Matera Matera Hena Sena Hena Sena Hena Sena Ramasene Ramasane Ramasane Nakira Ramasate 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 Na Ramasate Ramasatena, 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 Ramasate, 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 Tena, 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 Te. These are definitely opening up a lot. It feels, and I'm sensing, especially by the movement, the masculine and feminine lines coming together, harmonizing, intertwining, balancing, unifying, interlocking, maybe even trading places. Goya sana tera 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 sandakera tera tera sakandera sera kira matera 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 sira matera matera mate sira matera 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 masira matera 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 masira matera 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 masira matera matera masira matera matera masira matera matera sira te sira te sira te sira te. Remember, allow yourself to openly express. It will definitely intensify the experience. We are harnessing these tones of activation to allow the signature vibration of the tone to interlock, intertwine, and unlock the DNA. Sound, when in proportion with a specific bandwidth and depth, acts in harmony, its own specifications by design. So this tube of a vessel, if you will, it's carrying the exact proportions, the exact parameters to allow the sound to come in, to expand, for the depth to be harnessed with precision, to unlock. It's not about it sounding pretty. It's about the attunement of the tone. And each throat, each expression of each throat chakra carries wisdom. It carries depth of clarity, especially if, like me, you're on a path of mastery. And even if you're not, you're still a master. Maybe you haven't remembered it yet, but this is your opportunity to do so. Manera Ramatera Now the spine is all but non-existent and floating. Ina sera matera sena kera. Ina sera matera kera sena. Randa sera mata shande rambate sindake rambate sindake nasa yena rama yena ye. Each of these chords and mantras carries a tone of remembering. It's speaking to you on a soul level, not an analytical mind level. Soul is speaking back. What is your soul saying? Yena sera mate anda era anda era samatera si amma tera ina rama ye soko ata ye rama siti rama ke rama ye rama ye namate at ye shona rama rama That one to me evokes emotion. Like an ancient it's a way something ancient in the core of the being. A call to unity, a call to harmony. A call to lay down the arms and to simply just surrender. To stop fighting, to stop judging. Hinasera korane, 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 hinakanda sekete, madakete, marakete, kurate, aname, kuriatate, una, 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 A call to look inward, because the only way you can truly see what is outward is by being willing to look inward. Willing to see yourself first. Willing to accept yourself first. You can never see what's really, really going on. You can never fully know what's happening if you don't accept what's happening through you. If what's happening out there catches your attention first, then the finger will always be turned outwards, never inwards. But when you turn the finger inwards and you pour it into yourself, you remember that it was you all along. It was never anyone else. Ooh. This is when I always start hearing, my third ear starts hearing conversations happening in other timelines, where I can hear things happening beyond the shroud of my dream. . Gorashina matekia tekia 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 namatiti tamatiti tamatiti We call in and reclaim all parts of ourselves, parts that we have outsourced to beliefs, to conditions, to versions of ourselves that we agreed to at some point in time that diminished our power, belittled our self-worth. Shrouded us in lack, hid us in the illusion that we were not worthy enough, that we needed to play small to fit in, that we had to follow certain rules and conditions to make it. We call these parts of us back. We call them in through the tone, allowing the tone to bring them home. Those always come from the core of my being. You know, it feels like it's just, I don't even have to try. It just overtakes me. I would invite you to do the same. Just open it up and let it out. Allowing your soul to come in. Allowing your soul to come home. They're just pure sound. Kira shukati namadade, sinamadade, inamadade, 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 sinamadade, inamadade, sinamadade, inamadade, sinamadade, inamadade, sinamadade, inamadade, sinamadade, sinamadade, sinamadade. Inamatuko tia 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 tia. There were multiple tones happening right there. You might have heard it passing through your inner ear. Some of it might have sounded mechanical. Some of it might have sounded human. double tones of human and some mechanical. I say it's mechanical because it sounds like just a frequency that comes through in the expression. Allowing all cells to harmonize and balance, reorganize, remembering that your vessel is a vehicle of perfection. It is the supreme technology. It carries everything, and I mean everything, that you need. You as the source did not create a vehicle to deteriorate through time, nor did source. Source doesn't create something to deteriorate. That's the illusion. It doesn't get sick. It doesn't actually have pain. Pain is the illusion of a storyline, of a condition that you have agreed exists. It's a moment where you've outsourced your power through some way of believing, some way of thinking. Sickness, disease, it's all mental. It's not physical. Parasites are thought forms. They become rabid, and they take on a life of their own if not put in check. Your body is perfect, and you are the source of that perfection, because you are the source. The source is everything, and everything is the source. You are not bound by the genes of your family line. It's simply an option. It's an opportunity to master. It's not an absolute. These are placements of lessons. Iti kirasia kuriasia 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 kuriasi taridia tia 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 tia. Calling in the patterns of the 7 celestial gateways. Tia 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 tia. These patterns are removing any stuck energy. I'm hearing it's targeting the lymph nodes as well. receiving the final waves. Expanding into the collective oversoul. Expanding into the planetary oversoul. Expanding into the cosmic oversoul. Expanding into the universal oversoul. Kira mandate te te madate 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 karmate madate 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 karmate madate madate karmate madate madate karmate madate karmate 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 Irmate mate 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 karmate 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 Karmate, 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 karmate. That one's really moving into the masculine line for me. Moving through the shoulders. Karmate, 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 karmate. And coming out through the feminine. Karmate, karmate, karmate. Kirmateki, kirmateki, karmateki, 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 karmateki. You can just imagine that each dimension carries a specific sound, if you will. It's tuned to present itself in a very specific manner. And there are parts of us that are being activated in a different dimension that we can't fully see in this dimension yet. But those tones are still coming through, basically preparing us for transference. This is also what's happening. Let us close with a shield of light from all celestial star groups. Cinematade, 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 cinematade. Wrapping, shielding. Runda cinematade, 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 cinematade. Cinematade, 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 cinematade. Cinematade, 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 cinematade. Ande, ase, 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 inda, masse, masse, anda, ira, masse. wrapping and shielding. Anchoring. Anchor, 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 anchor. And we seal the space as the source, proclaiming the self as whole and complete. I am the source. I am the sound. I am the light. I am whole. I am complete. And so it is. All right, my loves, thank you so much for joining me and coming together. What a truly wonderful experience it was to be in this space with you and experience this with you. I hope that you are able to actively discover some of your own sounds and your own voice, and able to feel the power that you hold in your expression of tone. There's still a lot opening and expanding through the heart. So I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for everyone that tuned in. Thank you to everyone that was receiving. Thank you for those of you that were here for the entire thing. I truly, truly appreciate it. And I just want to say that I appreciate you all so much. And I hope that this has served to support you energetically and has served to maybe openly activate something within you. So thank you. If anyone that is connected with me on any social sites would like to share your experience, don't have to right now, but if you would like to share that with me, I always love to hear your experiences. If you're connected with me on Instagram, you can message me there. Obviously, if you're in the groups with me right now, you can message me there. But we can take some time to be present with the space of all the wisdom that came through. So thank you all. I do have a gathering coming up on 8/8 for anyone that is interested. There will definitely be a greater and more powerful, more expansive experience available, as it always is in the paid spaces. It's $44. If you would like to join that, please reach out and let me know. I will have the information in the description. But if you're already connected with me on Instagram or whatnot, just reach out, let me know you're interested to joining on that activation, and I will send you the information. Okay? All right. Love you guys, and I will catch up with you next time. Until then, Adonai.